right, welcome everyone to our spring band concert. I can currently see no one because these lights are wonderful. Our first ensemble this evening will be the Symphonic Band. They are our intermediate band, and they've been working very hard this school year to improve their skills, both musically and in terms of communication across the ensemble. So I'm going to invite Colton up here to tell us about our first piece.
Hi everyone. Our first song is Blue Ridge Reel. Blue Ridge Reel is a song by Brian Balmages. It's an upbeat piece inspired by a visit to Asheville during a convention of the National Band Association. The title pays homage to the Blue Ridge Mountains, a mountain range that runs through Asheville. And the melody is rooted from a traditional Irish feel, but includes contemporary elements that reflect Asheville's modern but vibrant atmosphere. Our performance of the song incorporates substitutions for washboard and spoons, an immersive melody, and a strong rhythm that combine to give this piece a very unique feel.
Our next piece is called Blessing Wind. It is a calm and lyrical work that offers a peaceful moment in an overwhelming world. We all face different challenges, but sometimes just stopping to listen can help us find clarity and hope. Blessing Wind is about that feeling. It's a musical reminder to slow down and remember that everything will be okay.
this year, each band class had had an opportunity to suggest and vote on a piece to be included in this spring's band concert. Our class chose In the Hall of the Mountain King. This dramatic piece comes from Grieg's Peer Gynt Suite, written in 1875, and is still very recognizable today. Although more often played in the wintertime, our band has had a great time learning it in this past spring semester. We hope you enjoy it as much as we had.
Shipyard Trudge is a march that revolves around the idea of a crewman working on an old shipyard. The crewmen work without breaks, day in and day out, as reflected by the piece's constant varying, though repeating melodies. This piece includes solos from some components of the ensemble, such as the trumpet and tenor saxophone. Audience, beware. When you make me believe that the day is over, the work continues to repeat itself on the shipyard.
Our symphonic band, everyone. All right, before these fine Cubans leave, I'm going to brag about them a little bit. So this last piece that we just played, you can sit if you want. Do you want to listen to me brag about you while you sit or while you stand? Adriana can't decide. All right, so this last piece that they played, they actually performed music that normally the wind ensemble would perform. So the level of musicianship that they demonstrated in that last piece is the level of musicianship I expect from our wind ensemble students. So I just want to give them a big congratulations for taking on that last challenge. You may go right out to, you can follow Piper right out to the audience. right, our next ensemble will be the Wind Ensemble. And this is our auditioned ensemble for students in 10th through 12th grade. We spent a lot of time on a lot of these pieces, and there's a piece or two that came together perhaps in the last 2 weeks. Maybe we learned a rhythm today. But these students have worked very, very hard to produce this concert for you this evening. For some of them, it will be their last concert with us at Chatham High School, and we'll get a chance to hear more about what they are up to in the next year. I would like to welcome up Vera to introduce our first piece.
Imagine a world powered by gears, steam, and boundless imagination. A world where flying machines fill the skies, submarines explore the ocean's depths, and time travel is just another invention waiting to happen. That's the world of Extraordinary Machines of Clockwork and Steam by Scott Watson. Inspired by the fantastical visions of authors like Jules Verne and H.G. Wells, this piece brings the sound of steampunk to life, blending Victorian elegance with futuristic dreams. You'll hear the rhythmic turning of gears, the hiss of steam, and the dramatic energy of machines whirring to life. So buckle up and let your imagination take flight as we explore the extraordinary possibilities of the past version of the future.
Our next piece is Scenes from Citizen 13660 by Yukiko Nishimura, which was inspired by the graphic novel Citizen 13660 by Mine Ukubo, who experienced Japanese-American internment in the 1940s. This piece is divided into 3 movements, each telling part of the story through music. The first movement, titled Internment, is the main theme of the piece. It expresses the anxiety, fear, and loneliness felt by those forced into the camps. These feelings are personified in the saxophone section at the beginning of the piece. The second movement, titled New Life in Camp, focuses on strength and resilience. You can hear the rhythm of people building new homes through the articulated percussion. The final movement, titled Sorrows, Joys, and Hope, is part of the piece that we as a class worked on the most. It features a vibraphone and flute solo, creating a sound that reflects both the hardship and the hope people held onto during that time.
When we were choosing music for this concert, our band voted on Pirates of the Caribbean and was one of our top choices. We were all excited about the energy and adventure in the music, and we thought it would be a fun challenge to bring such an iconic movie score to life on stage. This piece had a couple of setbacks. Due to some missing instruments in our ensemble, we had to carefully adapt our parts and work together to maintain a strong sense of blend and balance between sections. Every player had to be flexible and creative to help shape the full dynamic and sound, and the result is something we're proud to be sharing with you. This medley captures Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean's films, daring spirit, and cinematic excitement, with themes from The Medallion Calls, The Black Pearl, To the Pirate's Caves, One Last Shot, and the iconic He's a Pirate. The music brings to life high sea adventures, cursed treasure, and pirate battles. It's a thrilling ride from start to finish, and we hope you enjoy it as much as we do.
have something to do with ships in both ensembles this evening. All right, so I would like, so each senior, as I say your name, you're gonna come up here, you're gonna get raucous applause. We're gonna be so excited for all the things you're gonna do in this life. Yes, yes, you can even start that now. Yes. All right, so, in no particular order except alphabetical by last name, Ryan Banker, please come join us. I heard rumor, Jen Banker, you will take a picture of everyone together at the end. Is that correct? Your phone is probably better than mine, so please make sure that happens. I can't see you, so I'm just assuming you're saying yes. All right, wonderful. Brian will be majoring in electrical engineering and music performance, which he informed me of this morning in percussion. A member of the wind ensemble for 3 years. He's been involved in our honors music program, jazz band, and marching band. And the other week did the fashion show drum set. Yeah, just does everything. So congratulations, Ryan. I hope you have a wonderful time in college. Stefan. Clap for him the entire way he walks up here. This is it, folks. This is it. All right. Stefan will be attending Stevens Institute of Technology, majoring in computer science. Stefan has been a member of Wind Ensemble for 2 years and made sure that everyone had their act together behind stage this evening. So let's give it up one more time for Stefan. Kia, please join us on stage. Kia will be attending Syracuse University, majoring in anthropology. I lost my place. She actually volunteers to run our music tutoring program. So she pairs up high school students with 4th and 5th graders who would like assistance on their instruments, both in the band and orchestra programs. She's been involved with the Wind Ensemble for 2 years, drum major in marching band, and a member of the jazz band. Kia, you have done wonderful things for this band. Thank you so, so much. Garrett, come on up. I like this move. Congratulations. All right, Garrett will be attending St. Lawrence University, majoring in rhetoric and communication arts. All right, and has been a member of the Wind Ensemble for 3 years, and this year served as our percussion section leader. Thank you, Garrett, for all of your work in percussion land and for making the timpani enjoyable to listen to. Clover! It's a longer walk from percussion. Keep clapping. Hi, Clover. Hi. Clover will be attending Marist University, majoring in communications and studio art. Has been a member of the marching band and has been a member of the wind ensemble for the last 3 years, as well as our percussion section leader in the marching band. Clover, thank you for all you do for the band, and we are going to miss you. Thank you so much. Vera! Shorter walk from the front row. Welcome, welcome. Vera is choosing between Lehigh and William & Mary, and will be majoring in environmental law. Gonna keep our planet alive, will you? Happy Earth Day! I learned about that because my daughter went to the library today on her sick day. And because Vera just told me. Has been in wind ensemble for 3 years. Also plays the piano, very lovely. I learned this like several weeks into school. All of a sudden she's just playing, and I'm like, excuse me, hi. And volunteers as a tutor for our music tutoring program. Thank you so much, Vera. Wesley, get on up here. Wesley! All right. So Wesley's exploring options within the STEM field. Has been a member of the wind ensemble for 2 years and has recently discovered a passion, here's what I'm going to say this, for pep band. So I expect an invitation to one of your basketball games. Okay, all right, thank you so much. Can we give another big round of applause for all of our seniors this evening? I'm gonna get out of the way and you're gonna take lovely pictures of them. In front. All right, look happy. You have to tell them, otherwise they don't know. All right, stand up there for about 5 more seconds while they take pictures. Parents are moving around. I'm gonna stall. They're gonna keep taking pictures. They're so excited. Oh my gosh. Pretend I'm telling one of my really bad jokes in band class. Vera, thank you for laughing. You always do. All right, and thank you so much. You may go back to your seats. Mary, get on up here.
Our final piece of the concert is called Havana Nights by Randall D. Standridge. Every year there's a piece that the band falls in love with and plays more than any other song. This is the one. The arrangement features various technically challenging solos from the winds and brass sections. The genre of Havana Nights is Latin dance, so throughout the song you'll hear a very familiar beat coming from the percussion section, weaving its way through the various melodies. We hope you enjoy Havana Nights.
I'm sorry, we cannot play this piece without me reminding the band that the clave lives where? In your heart and in your soul. All right, the clave lives where? Okay. Enjoy the clave. Enjoy the clave rhythm throughout the piece. If you don't know what the clave is right now, you'll learn by the end of the piece. Thank you so much. All right, thank you all so much for being here this evening. Just a quick reminder to students in the audience, I can vaguely see some very saxophones and trombones. The woodwinds are resetting the rooms, right? And brass and percussion are removing equipment. Just, that's the reminder. Parents, families, friends, making music is just as much about community as it is about anything else. And part of the community is not just the people here on the stage and the people who were on stage a moment ago and myself. It's about everyone who makes it possible. It's about everyone who drives their kid around, who pays an absurd amount of money for an instrument that sounded like a lot of squeaking 10 years ago, right? Maybe not 10, I'm exaggerating, but, and trusting that over time, right, they will learn more, they will grow more, they will grow into themselves. I am so thrilled every single senior on this stage this evening is a good person, right? Is a really, really good person. And that's because of you, and that's because of the communities that they involve themselves in. And I really look forward to the world that they're gonna help keep creating. So anyway, let's give it up one more time for our seniors in particular. You can see some of them at our jazz band concert on what date? May, I'm not doing this as a test, I don't remember. 14th, thank you, Ms. Spooner. All right, so thank you so much for being here. Let me have your students for about 10 more minutes, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening.